that you're here to join us today on this important day. It is the last day before the comment period on the very first ever fracking well in the state of Illinois is due to be approved. Now, complications have arisen at the IDNR with the application, so it's possible that we'll be out here a little while longer. However, we wanted to be here on this important day to deliver some of our comments and to let people know in the Thompson Center, in the Illinois legislature, and in the IDNR that we will not tolerate one well. Not one well! 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 We are super excited today to be joined by our brothers and sisters from the grassroots who have worked to keep fracking away from Illinois up to now. We are also joined by Alderman Amaya Pawar from the 47th Ward. We'd like him to come forward and talk a little bit about what leadership in the environmental movement looks like. Thank you so much for being here, Alderman.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. My name is Amaya Pawar. I'm the Alderman of the 47th Ward. I can't understand why the conversation around economic development has to be an either-or between creating jobs or protecting the environment. It's just not true. It's a false choice. And anyone who tells you that in order to create middle-class jobs, we have to destroy our drinking water or our environment or our state parks or our landscape is lying to you. And all they're interested in is securing profit for the folks at the top without thinking about what's happening to people in their communities.
That ain't right!
That ain't right!
Finally, the idea that we're exploring a well so close to the New Madrid Fault tells us that we haven't learned what's happening in Oklahoma. We haven't learned with the countless instances where we poisoned our own drinking water so that a few wealthy corporations can continue to profit. So it's time that we pass a permanent ban on fracking. Not one well, and most importantly, if we want to create jobs, let's invest in our environment. Let's invest in our state parks, our tourism infrastructure, our river towns, and stop putting profits over people and the environment. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alderman Pawar. I want to introduce you guys to someone super important to me, a fracking warrior from the state of Ohio, started in the state of Ohio and has come to join us and bless us with her talents in Illinois, Mel Whitehouse. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon!
Kind of windy. I'm Mel Whitehouse, a leader with Food and Water Watch. All right, I'm here today because I've seen the impacts of fracking on communities all over eastern Ohio. I've talked to too many farmers, religious leaders, parents,
will happen here. Fracking is a bad deal for all of us. At Food and Water Watch, we helped communities ban fracking. Just a few months ago, adding Maryland to the list of statewide fracking bans.
That's right.
In the words of our executive director, Winona Howder, fracking is the environmental issue of our time. It's an issue that touches on every aspect of our lives. The water we drink, the air we breathe, the health of our communities. We cannot afford to keep drilling for more fossil fuels. We have the technology, the innovation, and the demand to build a clean energy revolution.
Yes.
What we lack is the political will. In the last few days, Governor Rauner has sought to cut $185 million from the state's Renewable Energy Resources Fund. Oil and gas companies are running scared because they've built a failing, outdated industry on the backs of rural labor, dumping waste in our poor and marginalized communities. Fracking is a desperate, last-ditch effort to save a dying industry. They'll stop at nothing, so we have to stop them. If you're hearing this from the suburbs, from central Illinois, from southern Illinois, and you're worried, you're not alone. We're building a statewide network of anti-fracking warriors. We can connect you with them now. Take out your phones. Does everyone have their phones?
Take out your phone. For real, I see you with
Phones. All right. Text revolution to 69866 and join the clean energy revolution and get off fossil fuels. We have the means, the resources, and the demand for clean, renewable energy. We don't need fracking in Illinois.
That's right.
We don't want fracking in Illinois.
That's right.
We don't want our well water to be poisoned by toxic chemicals.
That's right.
We don't want higher methane emissions. And we certainly don't want our communities to be destroyed for the sake of corporate profits.
That's right. That's right.
We need your help to defend our clean water, to defend our fresh air, and to defend our health. We need you to tell the IDNR and Governor Rauner, not one well. Not one well. Not one well. Not one well.
Not one well.
Thank you, Bill.
Awesome. Next, I would like to introduce you to another good friend of mine. JC Kibbe is the Outreach and Organizing Director at the Union of Concerned Scientists, and I think they're playing an important role in the fracking battle as they're helping inform communities about risks and what's at stake. JC.
Thanks so much, Jessica. Hey everybody, I'm JC Kibbe. I'm the Midwest Outreach and Policy Advocate with the Union of Concerned Scientists. Scientists, I know, don't everybody get so excited at once. We're concerned, we've been around for 40 years, but in these last few months in Illinois and around the country, I have to tell you that we've been a lot more concerned. We've been angry, we've been frustrated, we've been pissed off. Because we've been seeing too little movement towards the clean energy economy that most of us want and that we need, and too much doubling down on outdated, dirty fossil fuel technologies. So I'm here today to talk about fracking, but I know a little bit about what it's like to be in a community that's impacted by fossil fuels because I grew up right downwind from a coal plant. And I breathe that in every day, and I carry that with me and remember it as I do this work. As scientists, we're at our best when we put the best available science to work for communities and for people and equip them with that information so that they can stand up and fight for themselves. Because you see a lot of corporations that come around and they tell you they've already done the work, they've already done the research. Well, I gotta tell you, brothers and sisters, they're not always very honest about it. Because ExxonMobil knew about climate change in 1981, and they spent another 3 decades lying about it and funding climate denial. So we know that we just can't trust what they tell us. So, we need to put the best available science in the hands of citizens, and that's what myself and my colleagues at the Union of Concerned Scientists are working to do. We put together a toolkit for communities that are impacted by fracking so that you can have all the facts and you can have the resources to get involved with this process. We have the best available science because we know that fracking can poison your drinking water. We know that it can disrupt your communities, that it can put trucks on the roads, and we're going to tell you how to get involved with that process. Because we can stand up here and say a lot of great things, but at the end of the day, it's all of you and it's the grassroots folks all around this state that are going to make the real difference in their own communities.
That's right.
This rush towards natural gas, end to end, can't continue. We need to move towards a clean energy future. We need to protect the Renewable Energy Resources Fund here in the state of Illinois. And we need to build wind and solar, and we can get our needs from that and not from fracked natural gas that's gotten irresponsibly. So, all you, follow me on Twitter, UCSJC, and you can get that guide, take it back to your communities, talk to your friends, use those tools so that you can fight back and be a part of that decision-making process. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you so much, JC. I want to bring someone forward. So just so everyone knows, we have copies of this guide. So if you'd like to take one back to your community or share one with someone you know, we encourage you to do that. We'd also like to introduce someone who works closely with the communities who are most impacted by fracking. I want to introduce you all to an organizer and a writer, Will Reynolds from Southern Illinoisans Against Fracturing Our Environment.
It's exciting to see so many people here in Chicago speaking up in defense of rural Illinois, a fracking well in a really small county in Illinois. It's great to see. It's great to see that solidarity. I used to live farther south in the state, and I was on the board of the steering committee of Southern Illinoisans Against Fracturing Our Environment. So they asked me to come and speak for the group today. Now, I'm glad to see some faces here that were here a few years ago when we spoke out against a law to start fracking in Illinois, where it was exciting to see hundreds of people show up in small towns to hearings to try and strengthen regulation, to try and speak out against fracking. In towns like Decatur, which aren't really known as hotbeds of environmental activism, we saw hundreds of people show up to defend their communities, to speak out against fracking, and that will continue.
That's right.
So we know that in the end, a legislative committee decided to weaken the fracking law in Illinois. I'm a little surprised, and they did it without a minute of public debate. I'm a little surprised to see anyone apply for a fracking permit in Illinois, because the definition of a fracking well under the law is so narrow, it's hard to imagine a well that would actually have to apply under the act instead of just a regular well permit. So the law in Illinois is weak. We know that regulation will not protect us from fracking in Illinois.
That's right.
We've learned some things since then, since the regulatory law was passed. We've learned some things in the last few years about fracking. I was at a public meeting where someone from the Illinois Geological Survey laughed at the idea that fracking caused earthquakes, mocked people who were worried about that. But now we know it's true. Fracking and the disposal of fracking wastewater do cause earthquakes. And we have two major seismic zones in southern Illinois, the New Madrid and Wabash seismic zones, which are overdue for a major earthquake. That is not where we want to frack.
No.
We've seen over 200 studies since the Illinois law passed, showing that fracking poisons our water, poisons our air, and endangers the communities it operates in. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. We know we must ban fracking in Illinois.
That's right.
But one of the oldest environmental injustices in the state of Illinois is how rural and small town Illinois has been sacrificed to meet the energy demands of other regions. Policymakers find it easy to ignore the low-income, small-town regions of Illinois.
That ain't right.
It's not right. I know people in low-income communities of color in Chicago understand that because they're facing a similar dynamic. And we've even seen allies find downstate Illinois as a place for easy compromise in order to get a seat at the table. But we're not going to stand for that. Today, Chicago and the rest of the state stand in solidarity to say Illinois needs to ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now! 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 Ban fracking now!
Awesome, thank you so much. It is working. Fabulous. I now want to introduce you guys to a good friend of mine. Dave Davis represents 350 Kishwaukee, powerful people in the western part of the state, western city, who do great work to stop pipelines and protect local environments and their resources. Dave Davis.
Illinois and the surrounding area has suffered enough from the ravages of the fossil fuel industry.
That's right! That's right!
From pet coke on the southeast side to the destruction of prime farm ground in central Illinois by the Dakota Access Pipeline to the coal mines of southern Illinois. Enough is enough.
That's right!
We know we have well-defined clean energy solutions. We just need the political will. Washington has abdicated their responsibility. Shame.
Shame!
It's up to us in Illinois to act now. It's up to us to ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now!